Welcome to the Ion Annapolis Local Business Spotlight. There are thousands of locally owned businesses in the area, some small and some large. Some you may know and others you don't. But one thing they all have in common is a great story, and we want to share it with you. Join us every Saturday as we talk to the founders, the owners, and the managers of local businesses you have come to know and love, and those you will come to know and love. Now here's your host, John Frenay, with this week's Local Business Spotlight.
Back here at Mother's Peninsula Bar and Grill in lovely downtown Arnold, we're here with Joe Barsin, who we were here with. We weren't here last time we spoke. We were talking about the film festival at over your dining room table, I believe. But this time it's over a beer and an iced tea and a couple good sandwiches at Mother's.
Awesome. Yeah.
But it was funny. We've done a podcast with you talking about your businesses, JEB Design, as well as Citizen Pride.
Yeah.
And wanted to come back again because we were talking on the phone the other day, and your business today is nothing like your business was just 2 or 3 years ago.
2018 was the last time. I mean, I was listening to the last interview you and I did for Citizen Pride and JEB Design, and we were. I mean, we talked about a lot of stuff we were doing, but like, wow, a couple of years, and with COVID, how much has changed? Really a lot. Especially with copyright stuff. I mean, that's because the original interview was about copyright, intellectual property, trademarks issues, and so much has changed just in 3 years.
Well, I mean, first of all, I want to say I'm so glad to see that you're still standing, kicking, and punching after COVID. One of the fortunate ones, because there are some people that are, a lot of restaurants are probably still struggling, will be struggling for a couple of years, and some people, unfortunately, didn't make it. And I've got to think that your business was somewhat insulated in that. I mean, you didn't have
online helped. That helped. But the design side, doing logos, that kind of died because small businesses weren't forming.
Sure, everybody sucks in. It's like, ooh, can't. Rightfully, you don't know what's going on. I mean, when this first started, I thought it was 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, a year and a half later, it was there. But what does and I happened to notice on Facebook this morning, a friend of mine, Suzanne Marshall, had posted a picture of your candles, and I was like, they're selling candles now? And I went to citizenpride.com, and sure enough, I mean, so you've actually expanded what you're offering now.
Oh yeah.
Again, Citizen Pride is the retail end of your business.
Brand. So like JEB Design, Joe and Eva Barsin, graphic design. That's all logos, websites, brochures. Actually, did a bunch of work with Visit Annapolis. So that's that. That's the graphic design commercial B2B world. But Citizen Pride, and that's more Eva's. She runs that 100%, and so she, over COVID, we're trying to develop new products, and we had and it's kind of tied into the copyright world too, because so we had someone who's paying us royalties, Christina from Art Seeds. She does candles for many years, and she had a great story. She made candles with her father in Germany and came over here in Maryland, and so she has this long history of making really special candles. Like really working hard on the fragrances and really high quality. And in the past, who purchase our stickers and like our crab or blue crab or Maryland type stuff and put it on the side of the glass candle. And they were selling well for her, but we always wanted to build more of a really specifically designed approach to her product. And so over COVID, Eva and her worked closely on this project. So the bummer is about COVID is, of course, all the packaging was stuck on some ship in the middle of the Atlantic, Pacific, and so that we were supposed to release these candles at Christmas last year, but finally, our big joke to ourselves is like we finally are on time for Christmas sales again. 1 year later,
Christmas in July.
We're already here we are. We're finally are ahead of the game. So the candles are all just beautiful, 5 original designs. Eva totally created the whole project. We worked, spent a lot of time with printers because our history in graphic design, we know how to create very complex mechanicals with die cuts and transparencies and these things on stickers, so that you can attach these type of stickers onto a candle, so that as the candle burns down, it's projecting light in different ways. You either have full light, whether if it's die cut, or if there's a transparency or opaque effect, it changes the light, on that part of the candle. So a lot of effort went into the colors and the design of the whole candle, but not just what's the visual part, but the whole experience of as the candle burned down.
I'm just of the. Okay, you get a can and you wrap a label around it, and that's done. But I mean, and to sit there and think about all that goes into it, because
as we know, it's hyper competitive. Candles, like you throw a stick and a stone, you hit a candle. So I mean, if you're going to compete in this world, you got to come with your A game. You got to bring it to another level.
You got to be ready to fight for it.
Right, and so Eva brought her A game, and we're working with our artsy. We already had the high quality candle already. But now we had to take the design and the marketing to the next level, and that's kind of what's happened.
Well, I am a huge fan of your artwork. I mean, I've got every one of your posters from the film festival. I do awesome. Have a home wooden. What plaque?
Yeah, plaque.
If you will, it's on right outside our studio at home, and then I've got the Blue Angels. Hanging over over my dirty desk there.
Thank you. You did. I remember you posted a video a while back of your office. I'm like. Yeah,
that's right. Got a citizen pride. Yeah, but it was I am a real fan of your work, and I've seen it running around town lately as well, which is something that is fairly new to you as well. I mean, you used to be on the back of every car, and it still is. I ought to call the MBA and see how many have the old tags and how many have the new tags.
Who knows? I'm always looking around. Who knows? But they're still there. You can keep the heron and crab plate. It's still out there.
Right. But you're also now on this roving, I would say a food truck, but it's a food truck looking-ish trailer that visited Annapolis and Anne Arundel County has put out, because they're going through their own little bit of a renaissance with a new executive director and reinventing what they're doing. And
Kristen, she came on board she was with the Naval alumni, and she came in, and so the whole team there is fantastic with the visit Annapolis and Anne Arundel County, and I was so honored to be asked to work with them. And we started working with them in January, so creating the Arundel Ambassador logo. And and actually just worked with them on the 4th of July, Welcome Back to Annapolis, Identity. We just did a big thing with the Big Passion, small business. I did work with them on the big campaign.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, that was it actually is funny. Like a lot of my work is not seen because of Facebook and social media. You have to be, we niche everything, So a lot of times I don't even see my own work, because everything's online. Because it's all I'm not in the demographic of who they're trying to reach.
Right.
So there's a ton of work out there, but a lot of times you'll only see it if you're fit in that demographic. But but it's been fun being part of the. Actually, what's been really good with Anne Arundel and Annapolis is just doing a lot. They've always been heavy photographic focus. Like they work with a lot of photographers, which is awesome because that's the best way to show it. But sometimes, and I say this to the clients and anyone who's willing to listen, it's like. Illustration can solve some problems that a photograph can never solve, and for them particularly, they represent Anne Arundel County and Annapolis. And so, how do you show everything that's in Annapolis and Anne Arundel County in a photo? You can't, because it's BWI or the live or.
Well, I know they had 3 separate areas. They had the BWI area, which was sort of the business end of it. You've got the historic end here, and then you had the rural end down in South County.
Yeah, and it's tough. All the breweries and wineries and all the stuff that's going on down there. And so, so they commissioned me to create this big illustration, like from the horse racing to live to the BWI airport to of course Annapolis and to vineyards and all. So I created this giant. I think they're going to do a big wall print of it in their office, the visitor center. It's a screen behind their Zoom calls. It's on their business cards now. So it's just fun. It's awesome. It's like, because to me, it's like to be asked to work with them is such a. It's to me. I don't know. It's just I worked so hard to be at this point, and it's so cool.
I know when we first met and talked, I remember how proud you were when you won the contest, if you will, which it was, for the license plates.
Oh, yeah.
Just because you are such an integral part of the community. You've been here for a long, long time.
98, purchased the house here in Arnold, but I worked at Sass & Associates back in 92, 93, down here in down on Rao Boulevard, yeah. I
mean, your heart is right here in Anne Arundel County.
Oh, yeah.
And to be able to do the Bay Plate with the Chesapeake Bay Trust, which is right here in Annapolis, as well as and have the plate all over, and then now to work with Visit Annapolis and Anne Arundel County is got to be. It's got to be a real source of pride for you.
It's cool, and the team's so impressive.
I might even say citizen pride for you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry about that. Couldn't resist.
No, I've just been so stoked to be part of them, and I'm just happy how we have such a special place here, and that, obviously anyone that's listening probably lives here, so they know it. But when you go out and travel, I mean, I just I love traveling and exploring things, and I always enjoy where we go. But to come back to Annapolis, it's like, wow, not only do we have the history and the things that you see out in the world, but then you come back and we actually have it all. We have the food, we have the history. Being near Baltimore and DC, we have the IT, we have tech, we have we really have everything here. It's like this. It's not you're not in some backwater. You're actually engaged with everything that's going on.
I've always said that. I used to own several travel agencies way back when. And I always thought it was. I love traveling. I love seeing new things, but it's always really nice to come home.
Yeah.
And Teresa was just out in the West at Zion and, some of the parks out in Utah.
That's special.
And she came back and she's like, it was beautiful. Yeah. I want to go back. But, I really like where we live.
I know.
And, and that's true. We do live in a special area. But so what does citizen pride look like today that it didn't look like from yesterday? I mean,
I'd say the big difference for us since 2018 is when we talked. And actually, we did that on Spotlight Business, too.
Right.
We talked. So the big changes it's called POD, which is print on demand. And so what's happened with that is that's been around for a long time. That's not really a new concept that you order something and it's printed as a custom order and shipped out. What's changed, though, is how fast they can do it now and what better quality it is and how automated it is into our website. So I think we were talking about earlier about how large businesses are helping out the niche businesses like us. We're focused on very niche. Citizen Pride is focused on our community, what's going on in Maryland, and I've done a couple of stuff for like Chicago and Boston and stuff. But I'm always thinking about the pride of where you live. And so working with print on demand, I can offer all these designs now. Even I can do all the stuff that we don't have to inventory. We don't have to store in our garage. And so obviously we have the candles that we have stored in our garage. We have
the
stuff
garage. That was the international headquarters I toured last time, right?
It's called the Citizen Pride Annex, literally our garage. So guess what? Maybe one of these days, as you're saying, maybe I can get my car in there one of these days because the goal is no inventory, all POD. So because that means you order on our site. We have built a relationship with a vendor who we feel is high quality, and we're linked to them. But they produce the product within a day or two, and you get it as if it came out of our garage. So that's the goal.
I mean, it's got to make sense because, okay, let's say if you're an Under Armour or a Nike or something or an Adidas or something like that, okay, you can print up 10,000 shirts and know that they're going to sell in a month, or whatever it is, and you know what that is, okay? As Citizen Pride, you might sell 10,000 shirts in a month, but they may be of 9 different styles.
Apparel's the worst.
I'll just throw that out there. So it does make sense that a larger company, that has the technology to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Let the Nikes and the Under Armours and the Adidas do their own thing.
Right.
But you know what? I can take Joe Barsin. I can take an artist in Kansas.
Right.
And I can take a guy out in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
And fulfill all of them there. And it's just a matter of changing out a digital file, I guess.
And it's good quality. It used to be bad. A lot of stuff used to be iron on, and we all know how bad that stuff is. I don't need to tell you guys
Stores
about that.
on the boardwalk, with the big old flat iron that came, you picked them up, they were all like...
Yeah, we all know what that is. I'm not talking about that.
With the sparkles.
The sparkles, and it's like plasticky, and if you work out, the sweat's all balled up, and they know this is like real. Like you wouldn't even know. You look at this stuff, like, oh my god, I think it was so screened, I can't tell. So this is all super high quality stuff, and the reason why it's important, and it's not just me personally. This is about all artists. As this becomes more accepted and more, it'll allow more creativity and more niche to happen. That's what's changed in 3 years. Niche is everything. People want to work with a particular artist, so they want that particular design, and you see that through a whole spectrum of industries. But as interesting, you're talking about that restaurant, a marketplace up in Baltimore. That
right, our house.
Yeah, what was that? That was neat. I didn't know about that.
Yeah. It's up near Hopkins. It's a great place. Go check it out. Anybody's listening, Our House, the letter R and house. Makes it easy.
And you're saying, like, what, they got 20 chefs in there with their own little stalls? And
on their own little restaurants.
And and that's again, what's happening now. That's the trend, because being in advertising, you realize how, when you think of old advertising, the car companies buy, $100 million worth of ad campaigns on TV, but since most people don't really watch TV anymore, it's not relevant. So everything's on social media, but the only way social media really works is through niche, because it's through products you understand or people you respect or influencers and all that. So the whole dynamic has changed. So everything's all focused on people who know their market.
Sure. The guy that has just moved into town from, Santa Fe.
Yeah.
And was in love with Santa Fe now. It's going to take him a while before he starts to see your stuff floating around on his Facebook feed because of the algorithm that's going to do.
Unless he bought a house through Scott Shooter.
True.
If he buys out through Scott Shooter, Scott has been awesome. He'll give him they get to choose one of my canvas wraps as a gift, and so I can't tell you how many times I've had friends I meet at events and stuff. They figure out who I am, we talk, and all of a sudden the next day after they go home and look around and see what's on the print, they're like, oh my God, this is Scott Shooter must have sold us your house because your print's hanging on my kitchen wall right now.
That's fantastic.
So
well, I will say, Joe, that you have a unique look, and I remember when you first started doing the job with the Anne Arundel Ambassador.
The Arundel Ambassador.
The Arundel Ambassador. The crab came out. I said. Yeah. And that's Barsin.
I know. You did what do they call that in the news industry? You get a scoop. You're on it before. You didn't even know yet.
Well, it's just such. It's just such. It's strange with some of the photographers that work with me. I see. I jokingly say that I can put 3 of them on a football field. And just mix up the pictures on a table, shuffle them, and I could pretty close to divide it out and to who did what. I mean, they've got a different way of shooting, a different way of looking at different things, and that's the mind of
cool. You see that,
the mind of an artist.
It is. I mean, you're really good at picking that up because I'm like, that's what they work towards their whole liime as an artist. You have your own point of view and the POV.
Well, your point of view was being stolen last time we were talking. I know that. We won't name names because they're friends of yours now.
It all worked out. It's all good. And they're still in business too. They're doing great.
But it all worked out. Is that still a problem?
Yeah, actually, people still steal my work. But the good news is we still partner. I just teamed up with a cornhole guy up in Westminster, J&M Cornhole. Wonderful cornhole board. So he's been awesome. So he was using my work and we worked out a deal. So he's now my official cornhole board manufacturer.
He was using it?
He was, yeah. So he worked it out, but actually his quality was so good. I'm like, I didn't, a lot of times I'll just say stop doing the work or pay me a royalty. But in his case, we partner. So if you buy a cornhole board from Citizen Pride on our website, Mike will be making it up in Westminster.
That speaks a lot to you that you're looking for the quality. I mean,
totally.
So the guy that's putting your sticker on the red Solo cup is going to get the takedown notice, and the one that's putting it on the crystal wine goblet might be able to
from you too. But definitely, I always wanted, like we were saying with the artsy, with the candles, and with Mike up in J&M Cornhole. Like these are people that are good. They live in Maryland. They're local. We are always our goal with Eva and I. Besides I mentioned print on demand because that's just I can offer more different designs, and I wish they were made here in Maryland, but they're not. But the stuff that, like cornhole boards and candles and a lot of stuff we do, we try to be in Maryland. So that's always the goal of trying to produce that stuff.
That's great. Well, I mean, so it's still getting stolen, but you're working with them and everything else. But what do you know anything about this NFT?
Yeah.
Which is a foreign concept to me, just like the cryptocurrency.
Right.
I know it exists, and it's supposed to be pretty fancy, but. That is, from what I understand now, is a way to digitally sell digital originals.
You nailed it. It's a big buzz right now, but there's a lot of noise, but not a lot of information. So I've been spending a lot of time trying to figure out NFT, and that's kind of what it means is non-fungible token, whatever. That's not important. But NFT means that when you have a digital piece of work, like a couple years ago, I did that illustration of Annapolis called Steeples and Cupola, and it's a very popular piece. But it's digital, so that means the only way I can make money on that is by selling a print or put it on a pillow or, a cornhole board or whatever. So that's kind of why Citizen Pride was always in products, because that's the only way a digital artist can make a living. We had to produce products. We had to put apparel and all that stuff. So, and that was great, and that's what we do, and we're still going to do for the rest of our lives. But when NFT came along, and let me give you a little history on NFT. So NFT, the reason why I'm even talking about it was because Beeple was this digital artist has been around for a very long time. His stuff is very creative and original, and he was making zero money on that. He was a graphic designer. He was just doing the same stuff I'm doing, brochures and logos and stuff. But every day he told himself, I'm going to create a digital piece of art. And this stuff is always eccentric and nutty. He'd do a lot of like Elon Musk parodies, very Mad Magazine type stuff. Sure. Parodies on pop culture. And it was always done well, and it was always kind of interesting. So he did like over 5,000 of these, because he would always do one piece every day. That was just like, he wouldn't turn off the computer until he did a Beeple, and so he would create this piece of work. And so now we're after like Bitcoin, basically creating a code that cannot be corrupted, because the reason why it can't be corrupted is because of the internet. It's like a code is all placed on different servers all through the internet. So if you change one number on one server, everyone will know it, and that's how you know that number has been corrupted. So that way it has value. You cannot corrupt this number, the NFT number, the token. And so that goes for Bitcoin, it goes for Dogecoin, it's called Ethereum. So those are all currency type stuff. But for the art world, NFT is the art world. So NFTs, as a token, they attach to your digital work. So the minute it's attached and it's linked together, now you have that piece of digital work has value, because it's the only version of it. You can make copies of it, obviously, but if you don't own that NFT of that work, you are not the owner. It has no value. That means you can't resell it.
Right. So this is sort of taking the password on a file to the nth degree, but really offering the protection and the authenticity. I mean, I guess it's when you buy that game-worn Yankees jersey or something like that, somebody you've got a signature on there, and you get a little certificate that says, "Hey, this is the real deal. It's not some knockoff that I got at Modell's."
It's official. Obviously, it's all digital. Like you were saying, your certificates are printed and signed, and sometimes wax seals are put on them, foil stamped, or whatever. That's the physical world. But the digital world is all NFT stuff, because that's all. It's all on.
No way to do it. I mean, I can lift your. I can right-click. Maybe I can't, but I mean, on some websites you can right-click and just save as, and next thing you know, I've got a copy of the picture.
And actually, that will never go away. You always will have that. So, let's say my steeples and cupolas. If you save that on your hard drive, you have it, and that's why the let your boat guys got in trouble.
Right.
So my work's getting stolen all the time. But my point is, if you are the owner of my steeples and cupolas with the NFT attached to it,
much more valuable.
That's the only version of that illustration that exists. Now I'm in the realm of the fine art world. Because now I as a digital artist, I finally can sell my work as if it was the original work.
Yeah. Question: when you sell a piece of artwork with the NFT, who owns that then?
So they own it, the person who purchases it. So here's a couple problems right now. We're the Wild West. NFT's Wild West, okay? And I was saying to you earlier how we're in the realm of the only people that made money in the Wild West are the guys that sold you the stagecoach and the picks, if you're doing the gold rush and all that stuff. So we're in that realm. So the people making money on NFT right now is the guys who control the creation of NFT tokens. And they basically have to live in their little bubble. Let's say the Amazons of NFT world. You have to live in their little marketplace. And so that's problems, because they're all kind of going out of business or going in business and all that. So that's a little weird right now. Also, the other part that's a problem is the electricity is used. That's like the biggest problem. They're working on that one hard to try to get an algorithm that doesn't consume so much power.
Really? I mean, we're talking like BGE power.
Real power plants, real coal.
Wow.
Real, or hopefully like solar, but whatever. Nuclear.
Who would have thought that there was?
Oh, that's just some chart was nuts. It was like 20 to 30%, or maybe more, of our power that's being consumed right now on our planet is to maintain Bitcoin and NFT and Ethereum and Doge, and so this whole plethora of, because these are all algorithms that have to be constantly maintained. Every time you make a transaction, which is like a transaction, you buy something, that means every server that's part of this whole system has to be updated, and the hard drives have to be maintained to keep those codes alive. So we're still in the infancy of this concept. Yeah.
It's sort of like the electric car thing. He says, "Oh yeah, it's great to save all the money, but the factories that have to produce the battery are using so much, and the cost to replace the batteries and everything else. It's kind of weird."
You nailed it. If we're in that realm.
This is an exciting time for digital artists. Then
it is. It's the beginning of it all. This is like a sea change in art. Because we all know many great digital artists. I mean, we see it around us all the time. And of late, it's been mainly cartoon type stuff, very anime Japanese type styles, which is great. That's kind of the youthful focus. But and so you see a lot of little, like if you look at the NFT sites, it's all pretty crazy stuff. It's really intense. But I know as an artist myself, like once this gets established, you'll have more broad range of appeal. And I think to the listening audience, what you guys all need to know is, as time changes, our taste in art's going to change. And we're talking about that a lot of people are involved in virtual worlds online. And what's big in the virtual worlds is you have your own space, your own house, or whatever imaginary thing you created. You can live on the battleship, I don't know. But you start with NFT, you can start purchasing artwork that's digital, that's in your virtual mansion. That's what's coming. So you'll be able to brag.
All right, like, Joe, I'm getting too old for this shit, man. I'm trying.
All right, all right. Put it out there.
Wow. Okay. This is really bizarre.
That's where it's going. Yeah. I see my sons. That's their world. Yeah.
It really is. I mean, obviously we've got a generation of kids that are coming up that are about to rule the world that have grown up with screens in their palms of their hands, and that's something that I certainly have grown into, and I certainly appreciate it. But it's incredible when you mention that, to sit there and be able to decorate a virtual house or a virtual world.
Totally, it's awesome because it's all animated too. I love it because it's like. When you think of prints now, it's a painting on, like, we're looking at a big print of an NFL football player here, and like just think of it, that was moving. Like you and I are sitting here talking in a virtual, like, mothers, and then we see like they're actually sitting there rolling around or playing,
that play is playing out there.
Right, and that's so to me it's kind of funny. It's like Harry Potter, the movies. You remember like they're walking around inside the school.
Yes.
And you remember the ghosts would be on inside the paintings, and they'd be moving around and doing their thing. Well, that's what's coming. And NFT is what's going to financially make it real. Because when you have artists who are able to make a living producing those animated drawings within a Harry Potter's castle.
What's going to happen with Banksy?
Yeah, Banksy. Yeah,
I mean, because there was everyone always questioned whether is it or isn't it? And it was kind of crazy.
He's once you make a couple $100 million off your work, you're an artist. I mean, because he he does all the murals on walls, and because we have Jeff Huntington in our neighborhood, and he's awesome, and he's doing wonderful work, and Banksy's just a more international version of him, and so and actually people have cut walls out of buildings to make sure Banksy's work's preserved. I mean, that's what it's come to. So
I remember the one where there was something where he painted something that was hanging in a wall, and then it started to bleed. Or
even better, this is during the auction of a painting. I think it was a girl holding a red balloon or something, and it's framed and sitting on the wall, and the guys. 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. They're doing that whole auction thing. They always have that little wooden thing to go. Third, it's like I think it was in France, like the French accent, third, and then all of a sudden, like you hear like click noise, and at that moment, Banksy had set up a mechanism inside of his artwork within the frame that the minute it sold, he hit the button, and then the artwork was went down through a bunch of razors that he embedded inside the frame.
So it shredded it.
It shredded the whole work right in front of everyone's eyes after it was sold.
It's a completely different piece of art.
Actually, it's one of the few times I've my whole life I've seen performance art. We always you always think it's kind of nutty. Like a lot of times Hollywood makes fun of performance artists, but that is an example of a very successful performance artwork right there, because that made the painting whatever. I think they bought it for $38 million. Okay, so at that moment they bought it for $38 million, but the minute Banksy hit that button and shredded it, that thing just went up to $100 million or more.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, it just became crazy more valuable because it's creativity. It's what we're buying is creativity. We're talking about artists trying to imagine the future and what is this whole thing about? What is art, anyways? And Banksy's like saying, well, if you want to pay $38 million, I'm just going to shred in front of your eyes. What are you going to do about that? Yeah.
You artists are a weird bunch.
Well, yeah. Well, the first one was that shark in formaldehyde. You remember that? That was I'm trying to remember his name. He's a British artist. That was the first one. I think he made 120 million on that.
You know, it's art.
Yeah, we're in a weird
art is
world.
so funny, and I liken art to beer with me.
Yeah.
And you get a brewmaster who's going, you can taste the hints of chocolate and hickory in here and all that stuff. And no, I don't. I can tell you whether I like it or not, and that's how I am with art. I mean, I go and I look and I say, I like that.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Jeff Huntington, and I've told him a number of times I don't like his mural on Tsunami. Do I like any? I like 99% of his other murals.
Yeah,
and that's how I love art. I look at it, I say, this elicits a feeling in me, and it could be humor, it could be thoughtfulness, it could be anger.
A lot of that. Yeah, definitely in art. Yeah,
and it's and I guess that's the thing. What is in your retail store online? Again, citizenpride.com is where you want to go. What is your top selling type thing? You sell yard flags, house flags.
Yeah, flags have always been our mainstay. But actually stickers have taken off. I mean, I do a lot of decal stickers and die cut stickers, and because I really focus on when you think of your pride system. So I people may know my work. Birdland did a sticker of Birdland that has been very successful. Sold thousands by this point. But I did an interesting sticker for Chicago. Boston, these are the ones that, Pittsburgh, and I'm working on stuff for New York, and I'm always working on other cities beyond just Maryland, because I'm like, Citizen Pride's all about your pride of place, so you're trying to focus on, it's not just the teams that you love, it's the location. So in the case of the one I did for Chicago, it obviously has the Bulls and the the White Sox and all the Cubs and
right.
Actually not the White. I couldn't get that to work, but so I had the Cubs in there. And then but the thing is, you have the Sears Tower, and then you have the Michigan Bridge, and then I have the river being dyed green to represent St. Patrick's Day, and so this is all within a little 4-inch by 4-inch icon crest. So I'm trying to pack in all this pride of place. Yeah, and
sure, the key parts of the pride. I mean, did we have a crest for Maryland Pride?
Definitely my Birdlands, obviously more focused on Baltimore, the Orioles and Ravens.
And that's a sports. That's a sports.
That's
pride.
The sports one. But the one I think that's been most successful is my crab feast crest. So that's the red crab. It's been steamed. It's got the Maryland crest, the flag that's on the license plate, and then it has the mallets coming in. And people, that's been people going nuts on that one. I mean, that's on cornhole boards, T-shirts, pint glasses, you name it, everywhere. It's like,
what from an artist's point of view, what is the icon of Maryland? I mean, okay, you designed a license plate,
right?
You for crying out loud, so you've got a heron on there. We've got the crab. I mean, we've got some great iconic buildings.
Right.
I mean, you mentioned the Sears Tower in Chicago.
Definitely.
I mean, what are the top icons as an artist do you see here in Maryland? What would scream Maryland?
It's so funny because I actually feel like I'm too close to Maryland now to be able to answer that. Like if he asked, that's why I could do Chicago and Boston. But right now, obviously, the Maryland flag is the icon because that flag is nuts.
For the only state in America where
I know. That's funny because I'm like it's purely feudal. I mean, it feels like medieval, like be on a shield of a knight.
Right. Ali von Paris was thankful for that.
Oh yes, definitely. Route 1 is, and we sell work through her too, so she's a partner of ours as well. But so that's the icon of Maryland. Obviously, you have the terrapin, the state reptile. You have the the state bird, the oriole. You have the raven, which is famous because of Edgar Allan Poe and come along lately NFL. So you get the history of Maryland because we're a very wealthy state culturally and financially too. But culturally is this crazy amount of history here. Even on our vacation, we went to Smith Island. I've always wanted to go to Smith Island, and so we stayed there a couple days in a little Airbnb. We're right on the water there, and just got a local waterman. He steamed some crabs for us, sitting there right on the dock. And I'm like, I did that because I'm just like, I just love Maryland so much. I just wanted the purest of pure. And that's Smith Island. I mean, this is like right there. That's as pure as it gets. There's no noise. There's no nothing. It's all watermen. They have the Smith Island Cake Bakery right next door to where we're staying. And I'm just like, this is heaven.
Have you worked all that off yet? That'd be a dangerous place to stay for sure.
Exactly. So that's right. I got to go back to Park Fitness and work off the fat.
Get totally off topic, man. That's like a real hot little gym up in Severna Park, isn't it?
They are kicking. They are awesome.
They're kicking everybody's ass.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep it PC, but whatever. Yeah, they're kicking my ass, and Eva and I, we've been going there for years, and the owners, Joe and Danny, are just fantastic. And they have MJ's there. She's helping out too. And what I want to say to everyone out there is like, I was a member of Big Vanilla and YMCA for years. It's right down the street. And something about just going into that gym wasn't doing it for me because I'm just doing the machines and wasn't doing it. But somehow going to it like a place like Park Fitness, these guys, they're there every day. They got a routine. It takes about 45 minutes, and you're done, and you feel fantastic, and you lose weight without knowing it, without having a diet, and you're just happy. And the whole community is tight. So yeah, and that's funny because we have all these new people coming in after COVID because they survived COVID, which a lot of gyms did not. What I'm hearing from people coming in and saying, this is pretty much the only gym that survived COVID at this size, because they were so creative at keeping it going with keeping us separated by 6 feet, and we wore a mask working out and all that.
All right. Awesome. Again, we're here with Joe Barsin from Citizen Pride and JEB Design.
Correct.
Jeb or JEB?
JEB, Joe and Eva Barsin.
Okay, right. JEBdesign.com?
Yep.
Is the corporate B2B thing, so there's a need for a corporate logo or a rebranding or anything along those lines, there's the creative genius that you want to go to. But if you're looking for something very cool, a little house accessory, a sticker for the back of your car to show your Maryland pride, or perhaps your Chicago, your Boston, your Philly, or coming soon New York pride.
I'm working on it. It's a hard one. I have family from there, so they're going to be a hard time.
You want to go to citizenpride.com as well. There's no funny spellings there or anything like that. You certainly are showing your pride in your hometown with what you represented, and just it's your artwork is wonderful. It's unique. I am proud to have it hanging in my house.
Thank you.
There's an artist of Matt Renard, an artist down in New Orleans that I
check his stuff out.
I like, and those are really the only two multiple pieces of art that I have hanging in my home.
Wow, thank you, John.
Let's put it that way. And two different styles, but it's always great to catch up with you. I think it's exciting that your business, and I say your business is in a larger sense than the graphic design business, is entering a real new phase with the whole NFT thing, and to be able to protect you.
Yeah, PODs too.
You'll be able to make a buck instead of being the starving artist. You'll be like the
you're right. It's nice not to be the starving artist, but I mean, it's my parents warned me.
Yeah, well, and if I see some big ass yacht pulling into the harbor down there called Citizen Pride,
I don't know about that.
I expect an invitation. Okay,
the only way that's going to happen is NFT.
At least so dinner on.
Yeah, exactly. I'll definitely invite you overboard.
Joe Barsin, we missed your wife here today.
I know.
I apologize. I wish she could have been here.
Someone's got to do those candles.
Nah, her. So somebody's got to make a living here.
Right.
Joe Barsin, thank you very much. And, thank gosh you survived COVID and you're going strong. Great job with Visit Annapolis and Anne Arundel. And I can't wait to see what's next.
All right. Well, I'm working on it. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this week's Local Business Spotlight. Please make sure to visit eyeonannapolis.net for all your local news, events, and opinion. And in case you haven't already, please subscribe to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, where we bring you all the day's local news direct to your phone, tablet, or computer in about 10 minutes. It comes to you at 6 a.m. every Monday through Friday, and you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.